Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here, coming to you from the kitchen table. Drinking my coffee. But what I wanted to go over was this guy right here. So this is, it might not look impressive to some people, but that's a 3-inch group, 3.0, 32-inch group at 380 yards. So that's pretty good shooting for me. I'm still, I guess we'll say, relatively new to shooting at distance. I've shot out to 400 yards a little bit out at, I've got a buddy that lives over in Athens, and he's got some land, and we're able to stretch it out to just over 400 yards. I think it's like 410, 407, something like that. So I've shot over there several times, out to 400, but still getting used to it. It's just not something that, not exactly something that I'm, I guess, proficient at. So that's the good thing about, being a member over at Hobbs Island shooting range, not to mention my buddy that lives in Athens. I mean, that's like an hour away from me. And so Hobbs Island shooting range is only about 8 minutes. And so I'm able to go out to 380 there. And so it's just much easier to, load up some rounds, run down there, fire a few shots, check, see how things are doing, come back, make adjustments if I need to. I can even, work up a mobile loading setup if I wanted to, take it over there with me and make adjustments right there, at the bench. So pretty cool stuff. But this was with the Howa 1500 that you guys have seen. We now have, I think it's 67 rounds through the barrel. After today, I shot another 15 shots today. And so what I did, I'll just kind of walk you through it. What I did, I'm doing a much better job of documenting everything. My notes so far on this rifle and what we're loading up. So I loaded those up back on the 8th. Today's the 13th. Yeah, total round count, we're at 67. So I did change. So here's the thing, all right? The first 52 shots that you guys have seen, or at least that I've kind of talked about with this 308, they were with a different lot number of IMR 4064. So I had a partial pound of IMR 4064 sitting around. So that's kind of what I was using to begin with. And then I've got 3 pounds that are the same lot number that I just switched over to start using. So, and if you'll remember, right, we go back to our velocity testing that we did, right in this range of 42.6 to 42.8, was only, 1 feet per second difference between those two different charge weights, and that represents 0.3 of a grain in charge weight difference. So we focused in on that area, and we went back and we shot some 3-shot groups, if you'll remember. Had pretty good performance. There was a very slight point of impact shift that I mentioned in the video, and it was I think one of the comments, it might have been Todd, brought up, hey, go back, reshoot that just to see if that's actually consistent, right? See if that's a true point of impact shift. I didn't do that, but that is something that now that I'm on this, the new lot number of powder, and that was the thing, I didn't really want to go back and experiment on that with just it being a partial pound, knowing that I was gonna, pretty soon switch over to the new lot number of stuff. So, but what I did want to do is see if switching to a different lot number would yield different velocity results, whatever, different group size, because we shot 42.5, 0.6, 0.7, and 0.8, I believe. We shot 3-shot groups in, so we had at least an idea of what the 3-shot groups were looking like in this range. So we shot that on a previous target. So I wanted to go back, and 42.6 was our best group of those 3-shot groups. So I wanted to dial in there and just kind of see what it looked like velocity-wise, and also from a grouping standpoint. So fast forward. Here are the 5-shot group or 5-shot velocity test. So I loaded up 15 rounds. I took 5 of those to get velocity, because what I wanted to do, the first thing I did was I shot a 3-shot group to confirm the 0. Okay, that was what I did right off the bat. And 0 was still right on the money, even though we switched lot numbers on the powder. And we really didn't have any velocity change. So if you look here, now our first shot, this was with a relatively cold barrel, because I shot those 3 shots and then I switched over to shooting some other rifles, and this kind of sat for a while. So this was a fairly cool barrel. It wasn't warm at all when I threw the magneto speed on there. So the first shot velocity was 25.59, and then the next 4, you can see right there, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Our average, 25.79 essentially. But for the 5 shots, our standard deviation was 11.36662, if you're into that kind of stuff. But if you remove that first shot, then our standard deviation drops down to 2.98. So basically 3. I mean, that's pretty impressive velocity consistency. I know it's only 4 shots, so we'll need to dive into that a lot more, load up more of those rounds. I still have probably, if we've put 67 through it, not all that has been with the Alpha munitions brass, so I can't remember. We did 20 random hand loads, so 47. So we've got 53 pieces of Alpha munitions, brass, that we need to burn through. Some of those are already taken up with those velocity test loads that I haven't pulled yet, and I haven't shot any further. I haven't gone up the ladder any further than where I stopped initially. So, but I just thought that was really neat, really good, I guess, lot-to-lot consistency just in this one instance where we switched lot numbers of IMR 4064, and our velocity was essentially unchanged, right? We're at 25.79, of course, with that first one being a little bit lower, but we were at 25.74, on the other lot. So pretty good stuff. And our accuracy held together. The 3-shot group was somewhere in the neighborhood of like a 1/2 inch. Maybe a little bit more. The 3-shot group that I shot just to confirm 0, and it was still dead on at 100. And so then I backed my target up to 380. That is a 3/4 inch dot, orange dot. I needed a point of aim reference, so that was my point of aim. And then I was battling. Mirage was pretty intense out there, so just a lot of target was just jumping around. Between that and me, I was shooting off a bipod and a rear bag, so I feel pretty comfortable in that shooting setup. So I try to influence it as little as possible. Obviously, at distance, there's going to be a lot of shooter error that comes into play. I tried to eliminate that as much as possible, but still just being fairly new to it, not being proficient in it, I'm definitely going to introduce some of this group size is definitely me. But still, I'm more than happy with the performance of this round initially. We'll definitely load up some more. I need to load up probably quite a few more and test that velocity to see if we're still, see if we can maintain that really good standard deviation at that 42.6 grain mark. But it's very promising. I think from here, what we could do is start to tweak our overall length a little bit. We've got these guys loaded out pretty long. They do not fit in the internal mag in the Howa 1500, so I have to single feed these, which is not a problem. But it will be interesting moving forward. We can definitely, now that we know we have a fairly solid platform velocity-wise, or at least hopefully we do, and we're grouping well, then we can start to tweak our overall length and notice any changes. So that'll be good. So that's kind of what's, I guess, up next. I'll load up some more rounds at 42.6, go out, capture velocity data across a larger sample size, see if we're maintaining good standard deviation, and then we'll go from there. So that's it. Just wanted to update you guys on where we're at with the 308. So really cool stuff. Couldn't be happier. Oh, and the last 2 shots. So I shot 15. I did 5 shots for velocity. Then the 3-shot group confirmed 0 first. Then the velocity. Then of course my 5 shots at 380 yards. And then the last 2 that I had left over, I just shot on a steel target out at 380. So that's it. But all right. That's it, and that's all. We'll catch you guys next time. I hope y'all have a good one. Make sure y'all run down to Mr. Big Guns over in Huntsville. Go see those guys. Go check out Matt and those guys, what all they got going on. They're getting in new stuff. It's like every week, every other week, talking with them. I actually went down there, I think it was Friday, this past Friday, went down there and hung out till closing time. Talk to them a little bit, see what all they got going on. Man, they got in some really cool ARs. You guys, more high-end stuff. You guys need to go check them out. But if you're if you're looking to build your own AR or anything like that, into reloading, they've got some powder sitting on the shelves. I cannot remember what all they had on the shelves, but it wasn't really anything that I needed. Bullet selection is slowly getting better, just like everywhere else, right? This stuff's slowly coming back in stock. I think they're supposed to be getting a powder shipment in this week and maybe put out on the shelves. So make sure y'all follow them on Facebook. They typically post anytime they put stuff out. As soon as the stuff hits the shelves, they'll upload pictures to Facebook. So make sure you follow them there so you can kind of stay up to date. And then also, don't forget, run out to Midway Pistol and Pawn in Gurley. Talking with my buddy Robert, I stopped by there last week and talking with him and Mark. They're looking at expanding their store. In the footprint that they have, their gun store side is kind of split in half. The building split in half, and part of it was gun store. The other part was a liquor store. So they're actually going to convert everything over to basically sporting goods, right? So firearms, optics, you name it, targets, whatever you need there. So they've got a lot of good stuff coming in, a lot of new scopes showing up, really nice stuff. You guys need to go check them out. Stop in, let them know I sent you. They've got some really cool lever action rifles hanging on the wall right now. Really good looking stuff. So y'all go check them out. And we will catch y'all next time. Hopefully I can duplicate this performance or improve on it. So yeah, we'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one.